Hi my friends, how you all doing? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a episode of Tropical Wings Zoo. Now this is very different, today's episode. You're not going to get the usual intros or any of that stuff. I want this to be a relatively quick video. But basically, you would have seen I've really started on the Planet Zoo content again. Not only am I actively streaming every week, but I'm back to uploading regularly. I managed to get 2 habitat builds out this week, which is something that hasn't happened in a very long time. But I am very much feeling inspired where Tropical Wings Zoo is concerned. And I kind of have been looking at the bigger picture and I want to talk about it today. Now, I would usually stream on a Sunday. Instead, you're getting this video because unfortunately my wife and I double booked and she is busy. So I'm now the one that is left holding the baby, so to speak. I'm looking after Emily. It's really not a problem. I love daddy-daughter days anyway. But yeah, I just wanted to put a video out because you're not getting a stream. And I think that there's actually stuff that we can talk about where Tropical Wings is concerned. So I was taking a look at the map, gang, after I'd finished the latest build. I will link that above in case you've not yet seen it. And when I was looking at the area that our zoo is built in, I would generally go as far as saying that we're about a third done where the project is concerned. I really do. If you was to kind of split the map, you know, if you was to take the top half and then you would take this bit, I generally think we're about a third done, which is incredible to me. But then I looked at the animal list, and I'm going to put the animal list on the screen for you because I know that there are people that join the series late. We are only using these animals on the list if you are new to the project. And I was taking a look at the animal list, and I believe, I hope I got the count right beforehand, there's 66 species we have still got to factor into this project. And so as a result of that, I've started thinking about the big picture and I've started to think about where each of these animals is going to go. And I think that's definitely something we kind of need to talk about loosely in today's episode. But I think if I can get a plan in place and know where the animals are going to go, then you guys can get your feedback and your ideas to me maybe a bit easier. I'm always looking for like ideas. I'm always looking for feedback. I'm always looking for, you know, people to, you know, critique stuff if they don't think it's right, because obviously we're building for realism and whatever. So yeah, I wanted to basically talk you through where I think all the animals are going to go. I'm going to start with the stuff that we've talked about loosely in the past, and then we'll move on to the newer stuff sort of towards the end of the video. Not going to be anything too fancy. I'm probably just going to throw the animals up on the screen that are going to go in certain areas. Now, first and foremost, we're going to talk Adventure Africa. And the reason we're going to talk Adventure Africa is because I am making a change to Adventure Africa. For a long time, I had this plan that I was just going to do the lions and just this big safari area and whatnot. But we obviously put the Egyptian bats in down here, and they had to go in quite a big building at the end of the day. And as a result of that, they've taken up a bit of room. But also on top of that, we had to go deep into the ground to kind of take away the size and whatever. It was just something that I made a decision to do. But we've been left with this kind of dug out area that I think would be perfect to have a glass viewing area. And so what I'm thinking of doing, because I can't find a home for them anywhere else, is moving the African penguins into Adventure Africa. They would make sense. They're obviously an African species, so it would make sense. But I feel like some of the groundwork is already done. You know, we've dug the ground out. We could have a nice glass area that you could look. Ramps either side. We could still kind of do the lion, you know, holding kind of area. We could still do it behind the penguin habitat. And if we're clever with the foliage and whatever, and we do like a bit of disguise work and whatever, it won't look too stupid having the lions like directly next door either, in my opinion, as long as you leave enough space. So I still feel like we can make the most of this space behind, but I do feel like we could definitely get a penguin facility in here as well. And, you know, we could get the penguins kind of, I don't know, kind of in this area is kind of what I'm thinking. Is kind of in there. I actually think we've got a bit more space in here than it looks as well for the amount of animals that are going in here. So that's what I'm thinking of doing, is actually putting the penguins there. And then the lions are going to go where they've kind of always been planned to go, and the wild dogs are going to go where they've always kind of, the plan has always been for them to go as well. Now, what's going to change is my plan for the more kind of open sort of grassland exhibit, I guess you could say, because we were going to do it over 2 habs. We were going to do one with the ostrich and rhino, and then one was going to have the giraffes and a bunch of other animals in it. What I'm thinking about doing now is just putting them all in the same habitat and just doing one big hab with a massive housing unit, a bit similar to what Colchester Zoo have got, basically. I actually think, give or take, we might have all the species that are in there at Colchester Zoo, and I think we could potentially do like something pretty cool down here with all the animals. I feel like down this way is kind of perfect for the kind of holding area, like down here. Because I feel like we can definitely kind of disguise this a bit more. The penguins would be there, and then as you kind of come round this way, then there would be this massive kind of open area. Like, as you can see, there's so much space there, but if we could get like a holding kind of area in here, and potentially even like maybe one up in this direction, there is a hell of a lot of room for us to work with, basically. And that's something I do want to do, is I kind of either want to go over or under the hab as well, with kind of a bridge, because I think that if we were to just kind of take this path from here and just walk it straight like up this way, I think that's going to actually be a bit boring. Whereas if we could potentially come up and around the penguins to the lions, and then kind of come back on ourselves like this way, like here, and have the wild dogs this side and have the safari animals here, and then there'd be like a bridge that they can go under, and then have some of the safari animals there. I think we could get some really cool viewing possibilities, basically. If we just did it that way, we definitely won't get that. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. So that's essentially like a slight change to Adventure Africa. Nothing too crazy, but they're the animals that are going to go in that area now. So first and foremost, there's about, I believe, 24 or 25 species of amphibian and reptile. And they're all going to go in one big facility, and they're going to go in a reptile house. Now, the reptile house is probably going to go here. Now, I was having a look at the map, and I was wondering, and I'm in an iron, where are we going to go? And I actually think that down here might be perfect. I genuinely think, because it's actually a nice change of pace from Adventure Africa to come up, and then the reptile house be there, and then because otherwise it's just from one heavily themed area to another, whereas you get that little bit of a break with the reptile house, and you're going to have the elephants like definitely like well on view here as well when you come out from under there. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do, is the big old reptile house. Now, where the reptile house is concerned, I've changed my plans for it. I was going to do like a 2-story type thing, but I'm not going to do that anymore. I think it's a bit overkill. And what I'm actually going to do is a bit of a homage to Jammy Conservation Park's reptile house, where it was quite heavily themed inside, but it was a bit like plain on the outside. But I do want to kind of just do something a bit basic, a bit of a homage to that facility, just as a bit of a throwback and a bit of a, you know, a bit of a thumbs up, basically, for the work that we did with that project, and just kind of bring a little bit of that into Tropical Wings. So what I'm going to do is at the bottom and then the top, I'm just going to place like a bunch of animals, basically, because I don't really know where they're going to go. But we do know that these animals are probably going to go top and bottom in the kind of Into Asia area. Now, the more I think about the Into Asia area, it is going to be split into two, because we've got the more tropical climate stuff, and then we've got the more kind of colder, temperate climate animals. And I was actually surprised at how many animals we still have left to go where Into Asia is concerned. So down in the tropical area, we're looking more at the orangutans, the siamang. We're looking towards the clouded leopard, and there's loads of stuff down there, isn't there? They're all on the screen, gang. I totally lose track of the amount of animals we still got to do, basically. The tapir was one. I think the Asian small-clawed otter was another. Now, we're doing a big tropical house that they're all going to kind of feed into, and then they're going to have habs on the outside. We're also going to be doing the Indian peafowl down in this direction. We're going to have a big Indian elephant, hab as well, and then we're going to be doing the Bengal tiger. So there's actually a lot that's going to be kind of down the bottom now. I would actually say, bottom, they're probably going to go as high as that, I would imagine. That's going to take up a lot of room, all of that stuff. And I think that before I crack on with any more Asian animals, the elephants have to be done, because it's such a big facility that I think that I've got really no choice but to have to do the elephants. And then up the top, there's going to be stuff that is maybe more of a colder climate and slightly different. So I'm looking at the Formosan black bear. We've got the giant panda, the red panda. I think we've got the Amur leopard. We have the snow leopard. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that is going to go up in that direction as well, which is really, really interesting, to be honest with you. But will make for a pretty cool area kind of in itself, and it'll be nice to kind of slowly transition out of the more tropical stuff into the colder climate. And that's kind of how the Asian area of the zoo is going to go. This is stuff that hasn't really been planned, but there's plenty of animals still left to go into the zoo. And so on to the left hand side, sort of where the North American area is, we are going to be placing the timber wolf. We're going to have the American beaver, the Dole sheep. They're definitely all going to go over that way, kind of a little bit next door. I'm thinking of doing the alpine ibex and the Eurasian lynx, because I feel like maybe those will kind of vibe and be quite nice, like in that area next door. We are towards the top going to do a big polar bear exhibit quite close to this as well. I think it kind of makes sense to place that in this area. And then after that, we've got to think about the South American animals. We've got to think about the Australian animals and the slight overflow of animals we've got left. And by that I mean the pygmy hippos and the lemur species that we've got left. And so we do need to kind of find a home for all those. I've kind of placed them close to the bongos and the okapi for now. I think that's kind of where I do see them ending up. And then just next to kind of the North American area, I'm going to do the South American area, and then just up a little bit from that, we're going to do the Australian area. I think there's more than enough room here to kind of fit those in. I think over those two areas, there's only 9 species of animal that we need to worry about, if my math is correct off the top of my head. So I think it will plan out quite nicely, basically, and that's sort of where I see the animals going. Now, you might be looking at this and thinking, you've got more than enough room to get all those animals in. Zoos don't stop at animals, remember. We have got to get a bunch of facilities in. I've always said towards the top we were going to do a big veterinary surgery. You know, we might do an education centre somewhere. We've got to think about toilets and restaurants and all that sort of stuff as well. And that all takes up room, gang. You've got to remember that, you know, I'm not the fastest builder. I only really get 1 episode out a week normally. And, you know, even on a good day, if I'm getting 1 episode out, if I'm getting 1 episode out a week, that's 66 episodes you're getting. So that's how you got to look at it, gang. That's a lot. You know, obviously, there's not necessarily 66, because there will be some habs where we combine animals, but still, you got to think about it. We're looking at another 50-odd episodes at least, aren't we? If we're being really honest. That is a lot, considering we've done 40 already. And that said, there could be another DLC out by the time we get close. So I felt like this was just something that needed to be done, something that needed to kind of be said. It's a really quick update video, really. And what I want you to do is let me know what you make of those plans in the comment section below. Let me know if there's anything you would do differently. Let me know your combos of animals. Let me know your ideas for habitats. I'm kind of already sold on the African area. I'm sold on that Asian tropical house. But anything else is open to suggestion. It's open to idea, and trust me, if the ideas are good enough, I will always try and work them into the zoo. You've seen me do it in the streams, and you've seen me do it with builds in the past, so yeah, feel free to get involved, my friends. And yeah, I'm just going to finish there. I really appreciate your time for today's video. I know it wasn't like the most exciting, I know it wasn't like the most edited version of Tropical Wings that you've ever seen, but I feel like it was definitely a really cool episode that we needed to take a look at and have a talk about. My friends, if you're new, subscribe to the channel, like the video if you've enjoyed it. I will repeat, get involved in the comment section, but until next time, stay safe, stay humble, and I'll see you real soon.